People love to say, "I'd never do that." Never cheat, never lie, never sell out. But life doesn't test you when everything's easy. It tests you when you're broke, tired, and feel like the world owes you something. That's where this story begins. Jake lived in a small, forgotten town where dreams usually died young. No skyscrapers, no shortcuts, just long roads, locked doors, and people telling you, "We'll call you." They never did. Every morning, Jake woke up before sunrise, threw on the same faded hoodie, and hit the streets looking for work. Construction sites, shops, warehouses, anywhere that might need an extra set of hands. Some days he earned a few bucks, some days nothing. At night, he cooked cheap food, lay on his bed, and stared at the ceiling, wondering when his luck would finally change. Still, Jake had one thing he was proud of: his values. He didn't steal, he didn't lie, he didn't cut corners. He believed that if he stayed straight, life would eventually reward him. One evening, after another long day of rejection, Jake was walking home with his head down when a voice stopped him. "Hey, you there! Mind helping an old guy out?" Jake turned around. Standing near the roadside was an elderly man with sharp eyes and a calm smile. Beside him sat 3 huge duffel bags, stuffed so full they looked like they might rip open. Jake hesitated. He was exhausted, but something about the man didn't feel shady. "Yeah," Jake said. "What do you need?" "I'm headed to the next village. It's a long walk. I can manage 2 bags, but the third one's too heavy for me. Carry it, and I'll pay you." Jake raised an eyebrow. "How much?" "3 gold coins." Jake froze. That was serious money, more than he usually made in days. "All right," Jake said. "I'll do it." The moment he lifted the bag, his shoulders screamed. "Dang," Jake muttered. "What's in here, man?" The old man chuckled. "Bronze coins. Heavy stuff." They started walking. The road stretched on, quiet and empty. Jake noticed something odd. The old man kept glancing over at him, almost like he was studying him. Jake caught the look and thought, "What's his deal?" Then it hit him. "He thinks I might run." Jake felt a flicker of annoyance. "I'm not a thief. I work for what I earn." Soon they reached a shallow river cutting across the road. Jake didn't even pause. He stepped into the water and crossed. Behind him, the old man stopped. "I can't cross like this. If I slip, I won't make it." Jake turned back. "So what do you want to do?" "Could you carry 1 more bag across for me?" the old man asked. "I'll give you another 3 gold coins." 6 gold coins now. Jake nodded and reached for the bag, but the old man pulled it back. "Promise me something," he said. "Promise you won't take off." Jake frowned. "Seriously? It's hard to trust people these days, and this bag has silver coins." That rubbed Jake the wrong way. "Look," Jake said, voice firm, "I don't steal. I once quit a job because my boss wanted me to fake records. I'd rather struggle than be dirty." He grabbed the bag and crossed the river, muscles burning but pride intact. They kept going until the road turned into a steep hill. Jake climbed ahead, then noticed the old man wasn't following. "You good?" Jake called out. The old man shook his head. "Too old for this climb." "Then hand it over," Jake said. "I'll carry the last one too." The old man hesitated. "That bag," he said slowly, "has gold coins." Jake sighed, frustrated. "Man, if I wanted to dip, I'd already be gone." After a long pause, the old man handed him the 3rd bag. "Go on," he said. "I'll catch up." Jake adjusted all 3 bags on his shoulders and started up the hill. And that's when a quiet thought slipped into his mind. If I ran right now, nobody could stop me. Jake hasn't done anything yet, but temptation has entered the room. Jake kept climbing, 1 step at a time, the hill getting steeper with every breath. The bags dug into his shoulders like they were testing how much weight he could really carry, not just physically, but mentally. At first, he shook his head and laughed under his breath. "Man, get it together," he thought. "You're just tired." But the road was empty now. No carts, no people, no noise, just the sound of his own breathing and the dull thud of his boots against the dirt. And then the thought came back. If I took off right now, who's gonna stop me? Jake slowed down. He glanced over his shoulder. The old man was barely visible now, moving at a snail's pace, leaning on a stick. No way he'd catch up, not in a million years. Jake swallowed hard. I've been straight my whole life, he told himself. And what's it gotten me? Images started flashing through his mind, being turned away from job sites, people promising work and never calling back, nights eating cheap food alone while others moved ahead. He'd done everything right, yet life kept handing him the short end of the stick. Another voice chimed in, softer, smoother. This isn't stealing, this is opportunity. Jake stopped walking completely. His heart was pounding now, louder than the wind. The bag sat heavy on his shoulders, but the weight in his head was worse. That old man's lived his life, the voice continued. What's he gonna do with all that money? Jake clenched his jaw. I'm young. I could actually build something. He imagined a different version of himself. Clean clothes, a real house, respect. No more begging for chances. No more feeling invisible. One move, the voice said. That's all it takes. Jake looked back again. The old man was still climbing, slowly, carefully, trusting. That trust burned. Stop it, Jake whispered to himself. This ain't me. He took another step forward, then another. But the thought didn't leave. It grew louder. You deserve this. You've suffered enough. Nobody would even know. Jake's breathing got faster. His hands tightened around the straps. Then it happened. He turned around and ran. At first, it was just a fast walk, then a jog, then full-on sprinting downhill like something was chasing him. His legs burned, lungs on fire, but he didn't stop. Fear, adrenaline, and excitement all mixed together. By the time he reached his house, his chest felt like it was about to explode. He slammed the door shut and dropped the bags on the floor. Silence. Then a shaky laugh escaped his mouth. I did it, he whispered. I actually did it. Hands trembling, he unzipped the first bag. Stones. He froze. No way. He ripped open the second bag. More stones. His heart started racing again, but this time with panic. He opened the third bag. Stones. All of it. No, Jake shouted, kicking the bag across the room. Then he noticed something tucked at the bottom, an old folded piece of paper. Jake picked it up, hands shaking, and read, I am the ruler of this land. I have no family and no heir. For years I have searched for someone honest enough to inherit my kingdom. This journey was never about the bags. It was a test. If you had carried them to the end without letting greed win, you would have become my son and the next king. The room felt like it was closing in on him. Jake collapsed onto the floor, staring at the note like it might disappear. King. He laughed, but there was no joy in it. All his life he believed honesty was who he was, and it was, until the moment temptation showed up quietly and stayed too long. Not because someone forced him, not because he was desperate, but because he let a single greedy thought grow into action. He didn't just lose money, he lost a future he never even knew was waiting for him. Jake thought the test was about strength and honesty. Jake sat on the cold floor long after the sun went down, the 3 empty bags lying around him like evidence from a crime scene. The house felt smaller than it ever had, not because it was empty, but because something inside him had collapsed. He didn't cry. That surprised him. Instead, he felt numb, like the world had gone quiet and left him alone with his thoughts. And those thoughts, they were louder than ever. You were honest your whole life, his mind said, until you weren't. Jake replayed every step of that walk in his head, the road, the river, the hill, the moment the thought showed up. Not loud, not aggressive, just a soft suggestion. You could get away with this. That was it. That was the moment everything changed. He finally understood something most people never notice. Life doesn't ruin you with big mistakes. It ruins you with small thoughts you don't shut down fast enough. Jake remembered all the times he told himself he was different, that he had principles, that he wouldn't fold under pressure. And he meant it. He really did. But character isn't proven when people are watching. It's proven when nobody is there to stop you. The old man hadn't chased him, hadn't yelled, hadn't accused him of anything. He trusted Jake completely, and that trust had been the real test. Jake looked at the note again. "You would have been my son and the next king." He scoffed. "King," he muttered. "I couldn't even rule my own mind." That realization hit harder than losing the money ever could have, because money comes and goes, but lost character, that stays with you. Jake finally stood up and walked outside. The night air was cold, sharp, and